I had been teaching high school woodshop for a little while, and I had an advanced class, but I was a new teacher, so they weren't my beginning students. They were, I don't know why they were in advanced class. It turns out none of them had taken the class before. But I really got to know these kids, and I was talking about a museum. And I would talk about all kinds of art and try to expose them to things because I thought that was what my job was. And one of the kids said he had never been to a museum. And then all the kids said they had never been to a museum. This is San Leandro High. This is just down the road from here. And I said, what do you mean you've never been to a museum? Haven't you been to a museum on a field trip? And the kids said, well, we've never been on a field trip. What do you mean you've never been on a field trip? And they said, well, we're all special ed, or we don't pass classes, and you can't go on field trips if you're failing school. So I have a room full of kids that have never left school and gone somewhere. And I talked to other teachers about this, and they were like, yeah, it sucks. And a lot of the special ed kids, they don't get electives. It's rare they're in your class. You're probably the only elective they'll ever have because they're always taking some remedial class or some catch-up class. And I was really feeling for these kids, and the principal came to me and said, we need a new mailbox for the teacher's lounge. Can your advanced class make that? And I said, yeah. But they get to go on a field trip. And she said, that's not a big deal. And I was like, and there can be no exclusions. Every kid that wants to go gets to go. And she said, where are you going to take them? And I said, I'm going to take them to the DeYoung Museum. And she said, deal. We make a kick-ass mailbox. Every teacher has a flip-up door. It is out of hand. I get this McBeath Hardwoods in Berkeley donates the wood to it because I told them about the thing. So this thing is made out of teak. It is so beautiful. And she says, I've also got a bus for you. So 28 kids who've never been on a field trip get on the bus, 8 a.m. And we drive over to the DeYoung Museum, and I say, see everything. Look at everything. And kids, they are looking like, we don't belong here, dude. Like, they are looking around, and there's a security guard, and the kids are very like, oh, security guard, whatever. But I say, no, see it, everything. See the whole museum. You've never done this before. I'm going to sit right here, and if you've got questions, come with me, and I'll wait. And within 20 minutes, 3 of my students were brought back with security guards for touching paintings. I didn't explain any rule to them at all. And then another kid is brought back, and they said, do you know the oceanic section up above? He was taking selfies with some of the phallic symbols. And I'm like, oh my God. And then another one comes back. He sat in George Washington's chair. And eventually, all 28 of my students are brought back to the security room. We haven't even been there an hour. And one of the kids goes, see, this is why you can't take us anywhere. And I thought they were kicking us out. And a security guard said, what's the deal with these kids? And I explained it to them. I said, they've never been to a museum before, and I failed them. I didn't explain there were rules. All right. Let's all go together. And that head security guard at the DeYoung Museum took us up to the oceanic thing, closed it to the rest of the museum, and let every kid take a selfie with this giant penis. Now, I am thinking that's going to get to parents. I'm going to be fired for sure. He also took us to George Washington's desk and let every kid sit in that chair. And every kid commented that George Washington was a short son of a bitch. It's really low. They took pictures of everything. There was an Andy Goldsworthy sculpture, one of those things, he does that environmental art, and it was all twigs stacked in a way to create this mountain of color. And the kids loved it. And when we left the museum, they collected twigs, and we made our own in front of the museum. Thank you.